Hello and welcome to Pop Along RC, and it is back for a bit of a wrenching session. So Easter weekend, I've got plenty of time to be spending fixing up and getting cars back ready. So I'm hoping to bring my M03 back to life. First thing that I've had to do is put a new servo in, because this Savox servo here that I did have in it has completely frozen up. So that servo, you know, I might actually take that apart and have a look to see if it's just an issue with the gears, because I might be able to salvage something from it. Otherwise that'll be going in the bin. So the servo of choice that I've popped in there is E-Tronics. As you can see here, E-Tronics is a popular servo with us, and the quality is great for the money. So on closer inspection, this car is not in the best of condition, so I'm actually going to strip it back. I've just taken apart the main screws, which means I can now remove half the chassis, and I can have a look at the state of these gears and see what needs working on before I put it all back together. But you know what, actually they're not looking too bad. So next thing that I want to do is get an ESC in this car. So I'm thinking I'm going to get this wire nice and tight through there, running that down into the back of the car, and I'm going to be putting my receiver in the back there, which then means I was actually going to take this ESC out of my TT01. So this is the iconic car from last year. It's the one that I ran outdoors, but this year I'm not running the TT01. I'm actually running in the M chassis. So you may have seen on the channel already, I've been working on an M05, but I've decided I want to have multiple cars. So I'm going to get the M03 ready as well, so I've got a backup car on it. But that's all good on that side. If I just pop this open, we can have a look and see if I can do something with these wires to make it a little bit more appealing to the eye. I could obviously just bodge it together and get something in the car, but everyone always complains about how dodgy all my jobs are. So you can see there, what I'm toying with is actually, the red and black ones are okay, it's this yellow and blue. What I'm looking to do is potentially cut down these wires and then solder on some new wires to link up to the motor. That will look quite nice if I can do that. As many of you will know on the channel, I am not the best solderer in the world, but what have I got to lose? Let's see how we get on. Okay, so I have now soldered this in. So we've got some nice pink wires there, a little bit of blue heat shrink and yellow heat shrink just to identify the wires. Nice short cable there for the battery. The reason I've gone as short as I have is because that I'm hoping to sit in there nice and tight. This I will feed down into the back of the car. As I said before, that's where the receiver is going to sit, and then when the batteries go in, it'll be nice short lead to connect. So the reason I haven't actually soldered this in as yet is because this has got an old torque tune motor in it, and because I'm going to be running this iconic cup, I need to put in a core 15 motor. So they've changed this year from a Team Racing 17 turn brushed motor to the core 15. So hopefully they'll be a little bit quicker this year and make for some interesting racing. Just hope this ESC can take a 15 turn motor without cooking. As I say, this is the extra car, so if there is an issue, I've got my M05 as the main car. This tape is actually the M33 tape. There are lots of different versions of these. This is one that I actually think's quite good. I've had a few in the past where they just do not stick. So what I'm going to do to make sure with this one, I am going to apply this to the bottom of the ESC like so. And just before I stick it down on the car, a little bit of brake cleaner. I'm going to give that a little bit of a wipe just to get rid of any grease and residue that might stop this from sticking. There we go. Okay, so as you can see here then, we've got the two wires coming out the ESC, and I need to solder them onto the motor. So I need to get the motor, which is the 15 turn, so it's the core 15, and that should go in there quite nicely, which means I can now get the length of the wires. It's very important on these motors that you get the wires the right way round. Now the little red dot you can see there, that is where you would connect the yellow wire normally. So I've taken off the old wires, and now it's about soldering on my pink wires. And as you can see, I've got the yellow and blue heat shrink to let me know which wire is which, and the yellow one goes to the red dot, as I said. Now, the next thing you need to be mindful of with the M03 is your pinions. So I am going with the 20 tooth pinion, and when you put it onto the motor, you need to leave a gap, and this means that the pinion will actually mesh with the gears and also not touch the chassis on the inside there. So there is a sweet spot where you get it so it lines up perfectly with the gear without rubbing on the chassis. And obviously I said earlier that I was running a 20 tooth, so therefore when you put the motor in, you line up the screws with the 20 and the meshing is perfect. So here it is, the finished project, the final car. Really happy with how it looks at the moment. The one thing I am not happy with, and that is the front bumper. Now the front bumper on this car is from an M03 that was set up to be run with a Suzuki Swift. Now the problem with that is it doesn't fit a Mini. So if you have a look here at the Mini shell that I have been running at previous Iconic Cups, I had to cut down the front of the shell in order to fit it above the motor. So if I actually put the shell that I want to use for the Iconic Cup this year on top of this car, you can see that it doesn't fit due to this ridiculous bumper. Now I'm on the hunt for a bumper, and actually since shooting this video I have now found exactly what I'm after. So before you see this car at the Iconic Cup, I will have the new smaller bumper fitted, and my mini shell will look absolutely perfect on this car. Anyway, that's enough for now. See you in the next video.